Welcome back. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. New TV ratings are out for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, both from Friday's game and from Sunday's game. Clark, the main draw, but rest of WNBA picking up viewers. And we hope so. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, right? We got to start turning things around with how the league is perceived and how they've handled Caitlin Clark being a part of the league now, so that they can keep these fans and they can have this spillover effect into the rest of the WNBA, which for now we are seeing. Now, that being said, it's it's still completely dominated by Caitlin Clark. And if she were to not be a part of the WNBA, they might keep a little of that, what they've seen, a little of that spillover for the other teams, but they're not going to be a league that makes money. And they need to be a league that makes money on their own. That's really, really important. So let's dig into this. Caitlin Clark continues to be the WNBA's biggest draw, but the league is drawing some of its best numbers in years, even without her on the court. So the Sunday game, the Fever Lynx game, average of nice 1.57 million viewers on ESPN. That's fantastic. The seventh largest WNBA audience since 2002. That's crazy. The 10 largest since 2002 have come this season, all involving Caitlin Clark and the Fever. And see, that's what I mean about, yeah, the spillover effect is nice, but there's a reason for it. That's why it's called a spillover. It's not just natural growth that's happening. People are starting to say, hey, you know what? I like what I'm seeing with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And another thing I think that's also important, and look, the team has to do what's best for them for winning games. That being said, as anybody who's returning has heard me say it in plenty of visitors, what's best for them in terms of winning is running. I also think when you have Caitlin Clark and you've seen what the other players are now starting to do with Caitlin Clark while running the ball and getting out in transition, it's also much more entertaining from a fan perspective. And that's really, really important to the growth of the league. See, it's not, they're tuning in for Caitlin Clark. And when they see the Fever running, they're just processing that they're enjoying the entirety of it all. And so they're going to start checking out other games to see if they get that same entertainment value. I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole, but I think that's always been the struggle with the sport of soccer in America. We're so used to up and down, fast paced sport. Well, that's not entirely true, I guess, with baseball, but in other sports in the modern era, and that's why I see you see the leagues all tilting toward offense and making it very difficult on defenses because from an entertainment perspective, people like scoring, and I think that's why soccer has struggled a lot. And so you're going to get more fans of the Fever that spill over into watching other games if the Fever are playing an entertain, not just Caitlin Clark, but if the Fever are playing an entertaining style of basketball for the fans, and I think you see that when they run. So anyway, oh, this must hurt Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve. Indiana's win was the most watched WNBA game to ever involve the Minnesota Lynx, which is our four-time champion, and they've been to the finals six times. They dominated the 2010s with Maya Moore, who, by the way, is somebody that Caitlin Clark has always looked up to as a player. In fact, Indiana and Minnesota played against each other. This is fascinating. Indiana and Minnesota played against each other in two WNBA finals, which totaled 9 games. The most watched of those was Game 2 of 2012, 778,000. We just saw a regular season game between the two teams that well, no, just about exactly doubled that. What was it? 1.57 million, right? Yeah, 1.57 million. almost exactly doubled that. That's crazy. And good for them if they do things right and they are able to keep it. Now, interestingly enough, this game right here, ABC averaged 1.02 million for Mercury Sun. That is now it says the second game that has topped the million mark without Clark, and that is true. But the other game, as they say here, Sparks Aces, was associated with Clark because it was a lead in or it came after. I forget which, but they were back to back games. So don't yell at me in the comments if I got it wrong and said it's a lead in when it came after. But the ABC game didn't have, well, I mean, it sort of did, but like they're saying, the concluded more than an hour earlier than Fever Links began on ESPN. But my point being is you're getting fans now who are aware of that game on ABC because they're looking forward to the Fever playing, and they're like, oh well, that's kind of close to it. A lot of people, right? America were conditioned to watching sports on the weekend, especially on Sunday. So like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch this Connecticut game too. They have the second best record in the league. Let's see what they're about. I'm going to watch that, take a little break, maybe get a snack, and then I'll watch the Fever Lynx game. Now, this is cool too. This is really cool too because Friday night the Mercury Fever game was on Ion. It wasn't ESPN, CBS, ABC. It was on Ion, and it still averaged 1.34 million viewers. That's crazy. And it was the network's largest WNBA audience, which surpassed the previous high of 1.18 million for Fever Dream in June. Of course, it's Fever, but that's what we're getting, right? And that's why I'm saying there is a spillover effect, which is nice, but we still got a lot of work to do if you want to prove to everyone that the entire league has entertainment value, so that they start tuning into these other things. Because you had 15 games this season now that have averaged at least a million viewers. It surpassed 2,000, which had 14, as the most in any WNBA season. I don't know why it says in all likelihood. If it's already past the record, then it is the record. But another key to this that I don't think it mentions in here is there hasn't been a million viewer game since 2008 until this season. Think about that. It's been 16 years since they had a million viewer game on TV, and we've had 15 of them this season alone. And here you go with the WNBA games with at least 1 million viewers. We'll just go down the list 2.3, 2.2. I won't read them all off. There's three of them over two, another four over one and a half, another five. I'm sorry, seven over one and a half. This is absolutely crazy. This was the game that was associated with the Fever game previously. And then you had this Phoenix, Connecticut game down at 1.02. But as you can see, they're all basically, other than those two, 13 of them are Caitlin Clark games. So we definitely still have to work on that. Definitely still have to work on that. But it's gotten a lot better, and you're seeing people who came into watching the WNBA as Caitlin Clark fans starting to watch other games as well, which is fantastic for the league. I really hope that does continue. And to be fair, I hope they clean up a lot of their nonsense so that it can continue, because I don't think they should be rewarded for the way that they've handled everything unless they make positive changes. And it'd be nice for some people in within the league and in the media to come out and make apologies. But I'm going to leave it there for now. I just thought I wanted to give a rundown on the latest ratings, how that's affecting the whole WNBA and so forth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it's going to continue? And I don't mean just after the break, like next year. You think things are going to kind of settle down and maybe we'll get past all the crazy and it's just going to be a nice bump for the WNBA, and hey, maybe they can turn a profit and the NBA can stop giving them the money, and then they'll have to start doing things correctly because they're going to have to do it in order to stay a viable league and not fold. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will talk to you later.